Hi, everyone. We're going to be talking about learning to spell. And I just want to recap that the alphabetic principle has three separate but related types of knowledge, right? So we've talked about phonological awareness, an awareness of the different units of sounds in oral language, syllables, rhymes, and phonemes. We've talked about phonics, converting letters into sounds and blending them to recognize words. And then there's the orthographic awareness, an awareness of the spelling patterns in English. So these are three separate but related types of knowledge: phonemic awareness, phonics, and spelling. So chapter 1 gives us 8 principles, and they all apply to learning to spell. Right? So we need to understand how children learn. How do they learn to spell? How do we use the 4 cueing systems in supporting children's spelling? How do we create a community of learners? What is a balanced approach to instruction of literacy? How do we scaffold children's reading and writing? How do we organize for literacy instruction so that it's not just off the cuff, but it's very intentional? And how do we differentiate for instruction? And how do we link instruction and assessment? And so here's a developmental continuum of spelling. And again, it ranged from pre-K to grade 4. It's important to understand the continuum, to know where your student is and what they need to learn to advance to the next skill set. Similar to phonics, there is a sequence in learning to spell. So again, stages of spelling development. Young children can apply what they are learning about phonemic awareness and phonics when they spell words. As young children begin to write, they create unique spelling based on their knowledge of phonology and phonological awareness. Based on examinations of children's spelling, researchers have identified these 5 stages that students move through on their way to become conventional spellers. At each stage, a student use different strategies and focus on particular aspects of spelling that often reflect what they are learning about literacy. So it's very systematic. So within the first stage is emergent spelling. Again, it's just typically 3 to 5 years old. It depends on the child's exposure, right? Remember that. So emergent speller makes marks to represent writing. They can distinguish between drawing and writing. They know how to make some letters. The direction of writing on a page is correct, and some letter sounds, they make some letter sound matches. And toward the end of emergent stage, children are beginning to discover how spelling works and that letters represent sounds in words. So in stage 2, the letter name alphabetic spelling. Typically a 5 to 7-year-old, they learn to represent phonemes in a word with letters because there's a link between letters and sounds, which is our alphabetic principle. Concepts used during this stage is the alphabetic principle. They understand consonant sounds, short vowel sounds, consonant blends, and digraphs. Towards the end of the letter name alphabetic stage, children use consonant blends and digraphs and short vowel patterns to spell many words. In stage 3, within word pattern spelling, typically the 7 to 9-year-old can spell most one-syllable short vowel words conventionally. They learn to spell long vowel words and words with R-controlled vowels. Concepts used are long vowel spelling patterns, R-controlled vowels, more complex consonant patterns, forgive that typo, diphthongs, and other less common vowel patterns. Towards the end of the within word pattern spelling, children spell most one-syllable words correctly. So remember, this is around grade 3 or 3rd grade. So stage 4 syllables and affixes spelling is a third and fourth grader. They're applying what they have learned about one-syllable words to longer words. They have inflectional endings, they understand compound words, affixes, and homophones, right? Towards the end of this stage, syllables and affixes spellers can spell most two-syllable words and some longer words. They choose the correct homophone when they are writing. So by stage 5, typically an 11 or 12-year-old, remember, there are going to be some third graders who are in this stage. Derivational relation spelling. They explore their relationships between spelling and meaning. They're understanding consonant alternations, vowel alternations, Greek and Latin words and affixes, etymologies. So this is the final stage of spelling development. Primary grade teachers need to know about this stage of spelling because young children who spell phonetically begin to notice consonant and vowel alternations, right? Children's spelling provides evidence of their growing understanding of English orthography or the English spelling system. The words they spell correctly show which phonic concepts, spelling patterns, and other language features they have learned to apply. The words they invent spellings for and misspell show what they are still learning to use and those features of spelling that they haven't noticed or learned about. As children learn more about spelling, their spelling becomes more sophisticated to reflect their new knowledge. So components of a complete spelling program are using spelling strategies. You're matching your instruction to children's level of spelling development. You're providing that daily reading and writing opportunity. And you're teaching children to spell high frequency used words. So teaching spelling strategies, segmenting the word and spelling each sound, often called sounded out. Spelling unknown words by analogy to familiar words. Applying affixes to root words. Proofreading to locate spelling errors in a rough draft. Checking the spelling of unfamiliar words in a dictionary or a classroom chart. Matching instruction to children's level of spelling development. You're providing explicit instruction on spelling concepts and strategies that are developmentally appropriate. And this is going to be different for different children in your classroom, right? That thus leads to differentiated instruction, which is the best way to address children's needs while presenting lessons on grade level topics. So you could be in a third grade classroom and have a child reading at a first grade level. So you're going to provide instruction to address that first grade reader's needs, but on grade level topics. So in third grade, you may be what's your science topic? What's your, maybe you're learning about geography. So then you provide some type of reading, spelling, writing instruction around your theme, your grade level theme, but at a lower level where the child's able to learn the strategies needed to then gain the next spelling level. So again, here's developmentally appropriate spelling instruction at the different 5 stages. And here are the different topics, right, that you're wanting to teach. And so this is a great table from our textbook to use in your classroom. And so how does weekly spelling tests fit into a complete spelling program, right? This is research has shown that spelling is best learned through reading and writing, right? So lists of spelling words can be unrelated to the words children are reading and writing. And the 30 minutes used for weekly spelling tests is valuable instruction time. So why are you just teaching this random list of spelling words? But when weekly spelling tests are used in an individualized way so that children learn to spell the words they need for writing, it's explicit instruction. In the individualized approach, children choose the words they will study for their spelling test. The teacher develops a weekly word list of 20 or more words of varying difficulty. Remember, your children are going to be at different levels, and children can select the words to study. Words for the master list include high-frequency words, words from the word wall related to literature focus units and thematic units, and words children needed for their writing project during the previous week. Children study 5 to 10 specific words during the week using a study strategy. So this is how spelling tests fit into a complete spelling program. Assessing children's spelling development, you choose a writing sample, you identify spelling errors, you make a spelling and analysis chart, you categorize the spelling errors, tally the errors, and then you identify instructional priorities for the children in your classroom. The first step to diagnosis is observing struggling spellers as they write and analyze several, and then you analyze several of their writing samples. You must determine the child's stage of spelling development and examine both correctly spelled and misspelled words to identify specific problems to understand where to begin to scaffold instruction for a struggling learner, right? So there is a sequence to go to understand why a student may not be making adequate progress. So writing is an essential component of a spelling intervention program. Children who struggle with spelling don't do much writing, right? So you're going to want children to begin to participate in daily writing activities at their spelling level, which means they're just writing a sentence or two if they're struggling. Or you make it personal and authentic experience and you have a journal that children can write in. Again, maybe just 1 or 2 sentences. And then you supervise and scaffold for children. You assist with spelling correctly. You model, demonstrate how to form letters. You have words on a word wall for children to refer to, right? So this is how you intervene with children who are struggling with spelling. Hope this is exciting to you, that there is a way to be an effective literacy educator, and look forward to going further into these different components throughout our course. Take care.